Joining me now is Sarah Rumpf, contributing editor at Mediaite. Sarah, I really appreciate you coming on with me.
Thanks. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. And you've been covering the war between Disney and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis for over a year now. I mean, I remember the first time I heard about this war, I actually read your piece, and it was almost a year ago to the date. So can you take us back? Let's take a stroll down memory lane, if you will. And what is the origin story for this feud?
So what's going on is DeSantis needs good culture war headlines to get on Fox News. I firmly believe that that's the whole motivating factor behind this, because it doesn't make sense on a practical sense. It's not legal. It's not constitutional. It's not good governance. And it's just escalated beyond all connection to like logic or, real life. The start of this was the Parental Rights and Education Bill, an education bill last year. It was commonly called the Don't Say Gay bill by its critics in the media a lot. It restricted what subjects could be taught at elementary school. Just this year, they've raised that now to higher grades. The bill was criticized by a lot of liberal groups, LGBTQ groups, and others on libertarian grounds, about free speech grounds, things like that. Disney was far from the only one to criticize it, and their criticism was very weak and very late in the game. There were hundreds and thousands of other groups, even a big group of businesses in Central Florida that criticized it. And none of them seemed to be getting targeted for any sort of, government retaliation. What Disney did is there was a press release from the then CEO, Bob Chapek, that criticized the bill and said that Disney was going to do whatever it could to support the bill being repealed. The press release was toothless. There has been no action taken on it. The liberal groups that opposed the bill had already organized for pro bono attorneys and fundraised for all the legal expenses and everything. They filed a lawsuit the day that the governor signed the bill. Disney had no part in organizing that. They have not given one penny to that or any other legal effort. This was a press release to tell the employees, I hear you, I know you're upset, I feel your pain, please stop screaming at me. But that is what was used by DeSantis, then start escalating this aggression against Disney, which again is the state's largest employer and is a major driver for the entire state's economy. For those that don't know, we have no state income tax here. We are heavily dependent on taxes that are carried by tourists. So every time somebody comes here, they're paying sales taxes and everything they buy. They're contributing to the gas taxes, the hotel taxes. There's a specific tourist development tax that's on every single hotel stay. Every single one of those that doesn't live here and isn't putting their kids in the schools, but is still visiting and buying things, is paying for everything that we're doing that the government is spending in the state. So it just got very weird. What all this is about, the Florida Constitution requires counties to tax every taxpayer evenly by the same percentage. So if I have a $200,000 house and you have $1 million house, you'll pay 5 times as much in taxes, but we'll be paying the same percentage. The only exception to that is if the landowners agree to what's called a special taxing district. There's been a lot of misperceptions about the Reedy Creek Improvement District, the special taxing district on the Disney property. It is not a tax break. It is not some sort of scheme. It is something that was specifically agreed upon in a big charter that was entered into by the Florida legislature in the 1960s to allow Disney to pay extra taxes to build this infrastructure and provide these services at a level that neither county would be able to do. Disney has 25,000 acres currently. They sold parcel a couple of years ago, but that's a really big span. That's roughly 39 square miles. It stretches across 2 counties. Neither Orange or Osceola County had any ability in the 60s, and they have no ability now to take any of that over. Reedy Creek has been handling road construction and maintenance, landscaping, environmental issues, water, sewer treatment, electricity generation. They have a fire department, EMTs. They handle the building and permits and inspections. There's a lot to it. It's very complicated, and they're also providing everything at a higher level. The locals joke all the time that we wish that Mickey would take over running the highways because there's never any potholes on Disney roads. The street where my parents live is in unincorporated Orange County. There was a pothole there that took months to fix, and that was just last year, and the patch is already disintegrating, so someone's gonna have to come out and fix it again. There's just little things like that. So the original battle that DeSantis, the initial shot was, there was a bill that was going to repeal the Reedy Creek Improvement District completely, just abolish it, which again made no sense. And the county, both the elected officials and the staffers were freaking out because they didn't have the ability to do that. And he ended up getting caught in a insurmountable problem. Like other local governments, this special taxing district at Reedy Creek is allowed to issue municipal bonds. And this is the only time that I've ever gotten major traffic on a municipal bond article. But when Disney has more than, or Reedy Creek has more than $1 billion in debt outstanding, and that would have fallen on me and every other taxpayer in Orange County and Osceola County, raising our taxes between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, depending on size. That was a major political problem that the governor could not stomach. So they came back with a new bill this year that said, oh, we're just going to nibble around some of the powers that Reedy Creek has. And instead of Disney and the Disney landowners appointing the board, then I, as the governor, are going to appoint the board. So that's the latest round of wild stuff that we've got right now, where the DeSantis appointed board is people that have no connections to Disney and are people who have come to prominence through various conservative activist ways for the most part. The Florida Republican Party is on the board. She tweeted after she got appointed that she was on the Disney board, which obviously is not correct. She's not on the board of the Disney Corporation. She was appointed on the renamed Central Florida Tourism Development Board. And they've all made these comments that are very critical of Disney and critical of their entertainment content, critical about, things being politically correct or too LGBTQ friendly and stuff like that. This is supposed to be a board that is managing the land and property and infrastructure. The entertainment content has nothing to do with it. So we're getting again into some really complicated First Amendment issues that, every law professor and attorney and, legal expert that I've talked to about this is just flabbergasted at the level of free speech violations. Even if the government has the right to do something, they can't do it to you to punish you for your speech. And when you've got the governor himself saying that, Disney's corporate kingdom has come to an end and there's a new sheriff in town and we're going to stop these woke California values, and the members of the board saying that they're going to get Disney in line. The retaliatory intent is so blatant. So it's, I can't see that this doesn't end up in the courts. We seem to be rapidly heading that way.
Sarah, I really appreciate that breakdown there. You talked about a feud that really has been going on for a year, and it sounds like he opened up a can of worms that has First Amendment implications, political implications, economic implications.